This is All India Radio. In the program Samvad, now we bring you a discussion on major initiatives and achievements of the Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region. The participants are Sandeep Phukkan, senior journalist, and AIR correspondent Renu Kataria.
Dr. Jitendra Singh released book and its e-version on Northeast 2019-2020 achievements based on 1 year of Ministry of DONIA, in which there is mention of new model in corona management and thereafter in reverting back to normal working conditions regarding Northeast region. What can the rest of the country learn from this new model in tackling COVID-19?
It's an interesting question. Just a small data that I would like to share. Of course, the number of cases have gone up right now. But until 27th of April, 5 out of 8 northeastern states they did not have a single case. They were COVID-free, as it were. Only 1 or 2 states that has large population, they had corona cases. Mainly Assam and Tripura were the 2 top states that had corona, and also Meghalaya was another one. But many other states were they had 0 cases. And now, of course, the numbers have gone up, but it is still in hundreds. Assam is the only state that has crossed 1,000. Currently, it's about 1,400 active cases. And it just shows 2 things. One is that the lockdown has been fairly successful. The first phase of lockdown that started on March 25th, and I was telling you about April 27th. So for more than a month, 5 out of 8 northeastern states did not have a single corona case. And most of the cases that we have seen in recent times are actually cases after people have, migrant workers, students, and people who are elsewhere in other parts of the country, after they were brought in by special trains and special buses by the respective state governments, that we've seen slight spike in the number of cases. But even then, it's a very good manageable number. And the model that you're talking about, I must also say that, for example, Assam was one of the first few states that created a huge facility of isolation and treatment center in an open stadium. So that was clearly taking a lead in terms of telling other states that is how you can do. I mean, at a time when there is lockdown and there is no sporting activity and people are not moving around, so why not utilize open spaces to accommodate large number of people? I mean, of course, the funny thing is that the number of cases are quite low, but in terms of preparation, by the first week of April, Assam was ready with a 1,000-bed facility in an open stadium.
There is also mention of the Northeast contributing to Atmanirbhar Bharat in the true spirit of vocal for local. How has the ministry helped the farmers and rural industry in the Northeast in being Atmanirbhar, and what are the constraints to the agricultural growth?
First, constraints are in terms of the geography. As you know that barring a few states, Assam for example, there are very big valleys and plains, Brahmaputra Valley and Barak Valley, which are plain areas. Many of the northeastern states, Renuji, are actually hilly states. And agriculture mass-scale agriculture is certainly a challenge for farmers there. Though farmers do adopt different kinds of cultivation, step cultivation, terrace cultivation. So those kind of cultivation practices are adopted locally by farmers. But the interesting point that you made about vocal for local and Atmanirbhar, 2 things. One is that Assam, for example, is a flood-prone state, but with help from both the state government and central government assistance, over the years, there's been a great effort in terms of meeting its food requirements. Largely, the staple diet is rice, so paddy cultivation is very popular there, and the state has been able to meet largely its own requirements. Vegetable cultivation, locally grown vegetable, is hugely popular, and in fact, now vegetables grown in northeastern states is very popular elsewhere in the country. The government has started something called as Kisan Uran, these are, specialized cargo flights that operates out of 3 airports. Agartala, one is Bagdogra in North Bengal, and the third one is Guwahati. And these 3 states, flowers and organic fruits. Many of these states, as you are aware, produce very good quality fruits. So these organic fruits are actually now sold elsewhere in other parts, in other states from the Northeast, grown locally. And these are completely organically grown without any fertilizer. Sikkim, for example, was one state that was 100% organic. There was no use of fertilizer or any kind of other pesticide for its cultivation. So, these are actually talking about models. Not much is known elsewhere, but these are extremely popular models, which rest of us in other parts of the country can learn from the northeastern states. And that is precisely the idea behind starting these freighter services, the cargo services, that, when you get these produce locally grown in the northeast in other parts of the country, there will also be an interest in terms of how they grow, how they are doing. Piggery farming is another very popular activity. So what has happened is that I would say that constraints in terms of geography have actually led the local farmers there to adopt local practices that is being increasingly now popularized by the center through its flagship scheme, especially by the donor ministry, the Department of Northeastern Region Ministry.
Sir, you are talking about the constraints regarding the geography of the land of Northeast. How does our government plan to harness the resources for the benefit of the people, as the region is rich in natural resources like land, water, minerals, forest, and of course people?
As you know, that for the last 6 years, NDA government has been talking about Northeast being the gateway to Southeast. Prime Minister Modi has been talking about that. He refers to the 8 states as Ashtalakshmi, and he believes that there is potential for all the 8 states to really do trade with the neighboring countries, whether it's Bangladesh, whether it's Myanmar, and further up to Thailand. Very few people would perhaps be aware that there is road connectivity, and on special occasions, there have been ASEAN car rally that have traveled all the way to Thailand through the northeastern states. So there is road connectivity as well. And a substantial amount of trade takes place on Manipur-Myanmar border, place called Moreh. This has been a focus of the Government of India, that many of these states, Assam being the biggest state, can really become the hub and can be the gateway to Southeast in terms of trade. There is also talk about increasing trade with Bangladesh, and because of the contiguity with the region, Bangladesh shares a border with several states, but mainly Meghalaya, Assam and Tripura. And similarly, as I already told you about Manipur and Moreh, Myanmar. So these can be good trade routes. In the past 4 years, one interesting development that has taken place, or that I have seen, is that while we've heard almost for more than a decade perhaps about connectivity with Southeast Asia and potential of the Northeast in terms of opening up of trade, but what we have actually seen in the past, I would say post-2016, was that Assam government took the lead in terms of inviting some of these neighboring countries to set up their consulates there. So these developments have taken place, and one hopes that, as I said, that we've only talked about the potential, but one also sees delivery on that count.
What is the vision of the Ministry of Development of Northeast region so that it may enjoy growth parity with the rest of the country?
I think one of the biggest issues that the ministry is also working on right now, and what we've seen in terms of challenges also, is connectivity. As we mentioned earlier, that geography has been a challenge, and it's a task for both the people there as well as governments there to convert adversity into an opportunity. But in the past few years, we've seen a lot of effort really in terms of connectivity. For example, railways have gone to Arunachal, they have gone to Tripura, while may sound very routine. So you and I may always say that what's so big in terms of having a railway line, but you must understand that in terms of topography, to build a railway line through hills, cutting through hills, through tunnels, it's not an easy task, and to do it in short span of time, even more commendable. So many of those projects have now started sort of bearing fruit. Connectivity has increased. As many as 35 national highways work has been awarded in the past 1 year. There is also plan to connect in terms of energy security. As you perhaps know, that the region is rich. It's very rich in terms of, you get coal there, you get gas there. In Assam, you have gas reserves there. And there is a project by the central government which is called Indradhanush gas grid. So the idea is to connect all the 8 states, about 1,700 kilometers, I think 1,650 kilometers. They want to connect all the 8 states through a gas grid. So when you have the grid ready, So the plan is to connect these places with the gas grid and then eventually sort of move towards cleaner energy, more efficient system of distribution of energy. In one word, infrastructure is really the focus or has been the focus of the central government for the past 5-6 years, where, connectivity has played a very, very important role, both in terms of building roads, national highways, ports. For example, the National Waterway 2 has been started. We have the mighty Brahmaputra in Assam. So this Brahmaputra connecting with Haldia Port, Bangladesh, is an important development that comes under National Waterways 2. So that these developments have taken place in the region, and that has been a key focus, I would say, in the past few years.
Establishing peace, security and responsive governance are essential prerequisites for development. How does the ministry plan to empower people through inclusive governance in the Northeast region?
One of the early developments that happened in pre-COVID days, I would say, was actually the signing of the Boro Peace Accord 2020. Of course, there have been 2 Boro Peace Accords earlier as well. But what makes the latest Boro Peace Accord different from the other Boro Peace Accords is that so whenever there are demands for a separate state, such a model can be successfully applied. So this was signed sometime in February. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had himself gone and addressed a rally there. And it's a very significant development in terms of getting all shades of opinion within the Boro leadership coming and taking part in this agreement. It's a tripartite agreement, Renuji, between the Assam government, the central government, and of course the Boro leadership. Said they are a tribal community who are dominant in 4 districts of Assam, and there are similar different tribes within Assam and outside in other states also, where this kind of peace settlement model will come in very handy. Government of India also is keen to have a dialogue with the militant group in Assam called the ALFA, United Liberation Front of Assam. So, as you know, the talks are at a very advanced stage with the Naga groups, with the NSCN, not just with the NSCN-IM, but with several other civil society groups. So, I would say that restoring peace is very important. But, you will not have investments and you will not have business unless you have peace and stability, both in terms of law and order, also in terms of stability of governance. So, I think both these factors are important in terms of development of the region.
What is the long-term vision for industrial development related to labor shortages, skill development and development of physical infrastructure which are impediments to industrial growth look like for the Northeast region?
This industrialization has been an interesting topic. In Northeast really doesn't have industry. The only industry, in fact, the 2 very critical and crucial industries that we have in the Northeast is tea. As you know, that bulk of tea produced in India comes from the Northeast, and oil industry. We have several refineries there. In Assam itself, we have 3 refineries, Numaligarh, Bongaigaon and Guwahati refineries. So apart from these 2 industries, in terms of other industries, manufacturing units, Assam being the biggest state, Assam itself doesn't have too many industries. The further up you go to hill states, it is a big shortcoming of the hill states because of connectivity. Whatever you can produce in mainland India, the cost of production goes up manyfold, both in terms of labor as well as in terms of transport. The challenge for state governments as well as the central government would be to identify key areas. As I said in the beginning, the tea and oil industry are the 2 key industries where there is good turnover, good profit, and Northeast is known for that. Similarly, I think other key industries will have to be found out where Northeast can do very well. Basically, looking at the potential of the region, what can be grown most cost effectively, that can also be cost effective in terms of having a market elsewhere in India.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
You were listening to a discussion on major initiatives and achievements of the Ministry of Development of the Northeastern region. The participants were Sandeep Phukkan, senior journalist, and AIR correspondent Renu Kataria. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our website newsonair.com. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsttalks@gmail.com.